Whoa, too close. Hey everybody, it's Doom here. I just came back from Dollar Tree a little bit ago and I had to do some work stuff. I was supposed to be off today, but I got some stuff here. This is reusable mini containers with lids, which I need all the time. Some Power Rangers. I got two of those. I think I got two of those. Maybe I got, yeah. Got a blue and a red, which I've had a couple of Power Rangers in stock, but since they're there, you know, got Black Adam and Shazam for an upcoming project. I got some of these glass mosaic beads for something I want to work on. This puzzle, which is something we need today. A Rubik's Cube, which we need today. These, because I was going to show you guys how to make some quick and easy mine carts. Glue. A spider, who is needing soaked in hot water. That's some more gloss Mod Podge. A small thing of regular Mod Podge, even though that big one. This wasn't from Dollar Tree. I just threw it in the bag to carry down here. Some little metal jump rings, which I don't know what they're for, but I use them as door knockers and stuff. And this Magic Kitchen Sink $1.25 set that came with 12 pieces that look like they could all pretty much be used in sci-fi campaign terrain somehow. So let's get started first by the puzzle. So I want to make a map for my players that will lead them to a Rubik's Cube that I will also be customizing. And normally, a YouTuber would do a map like this, puzzle like this off screen, or edit them doing it very quickly. But I don't do that. So, let's take a look at how this puzzle could go together. So, flat edge, first corner, looks like I kind of know what I'm doing. Probably on the left side, and that's going to be top right. Same color. Okay. All right, you always start with flat edges. Is the secret of the world here when it comes to puzzles. Flat edges make it go faster. Okay. Guessing that goes there. Flat edge, that's probably going to go over there somewhere. All right. Is that all my flat edges? There we go. Nice. Now we need a flat edge that has... Man, I don't know how to do puzzles for shit, do I? Gallimimus, Stegosaurus. I'm looking for that flat edge that has the... Okay. Alright, flat edges. We're getting to that. I'm missing a flat edge for sure. And there it is. Okay, so putting puzzles together is pretty basic and easy. This is like a 24-piece puzzle, but you don't want this to be an enormous puzzle. You just want this to be a meaningful puzzle. I just bent that piece. It's very delicate. Very delicate. Gallimimus' body there. Nice. Okay. So once you get your puzzle together like this, first thing you want to do is you want to paint it black or whatever base coat you're going to use. I'm going to use black. And I'm going to get a kind of a bigger brush. Maybe spray painting it would have been better, now that I'm thinking about it. but it's a little late for that. But yeah, spray painting it would have been better. Maybe I'll dry this off and hit it with a spray paint real quick. Well, let me think about this. Let me get a rag. Wipe a lot of that off so I can dry it quickly. Worst case scenario, that'll give us a tiny bit of really small, unnoticeable texture that might make it more of an interesting piece. All right, let's slide that up for a moment. We'll just clean this off real quick. Or it will get everywhere. Now let's get something flat to put this on to spray paint it. I'm in luck because I have lots of flat stuff. Just give me a moment to find it. The bottom of this box should suffice. I'm going to slide this up to the edge of my desk here. It's not really a desk, but you know what I mean. And now I have it on there and I'll be able to spray paint it real quick. I'm going to use black. I'm not going to do it on my desk. I have a little box over here I'm going to do it on real quick. And that's the +5 hair dryer hitting the ground. Okay. I lost my black lid that I just had. Oh, I knocked it on the floor. Hold on. All right. Ooh. Okay, that's pretty dry. All right, so on the map, what we want to do, instead of making it like a standard map, we want it to be like a point of interest map, okay? So what we want to do is we want to kind of create different areas that represent different things. So for example, let's say we want to make the Grand Canyon. What we'll do is we'll get our brown here. We'll get a brush. And we'll represent a giant canyon. Since the background is black, you might have to hit some of these a couple times to get the desired result. And that's okay. This isn't going to take that long to begin with. Once you're sure you have it kind of where you want it, and it's fairly dry. You can use a marker or whatever you got. I'm going to look for a marker. I have one right here. And I'm going to try to represent a giant canyon with it. And to do that, I'm just going to come through here and draw kind of a fake canyon-y looking shape. I'm going to draw some lines going down to show that it's deep, that it's a chasm. Then I'm going to use a lighter brown to kind of go around the edges with it. So using that same brush, I'm just going to wipe it on cardboard, grab a little bit of that, and I'm going to kind of lighten up the edges to show that this is not as dark around the edges. And then I'm going to go to the inside of it with a darker brown. I'm wiping my brush on my cardboard and get a little bit of that off. Then I'm going to kind of come in here and darken up that bottom and give the image that this might be a deeper hole than we suspected originally. Now you could write on here or paint on here, however you want to do it, that this is the canyon. So since in my world I kind of do things like weird, I'm going to come back and label it afterwards. So the next thing I want to do is I want to make a mesa. Like a, you know. Oh. Let's pull my brush apart. There we go. So I'm going to do the mesa. And I want the mesa to be down here. I'm going to make kind of a roof for my mesa, the top, a lid. And then I'm just going to kind of come down. And okay. I'm going to set my paint off to the side. I'm going to dry that up, and I might have to hit that again. Now, the goal is that if they find parts of this, that they'll be able to still, you know, get to the end of the map. If they don't ever find all the puzzle pieces or ever get the puzzle put together, they will still get to the end result. Because the fun of an adventure is not every little side step, it's the winning. So you don't want to get to a point where people can't win. And to get to these different parts of your puzzle, and 24 is a lot of quests, what you do is you kind of play a silly game. And the silly game is this. Okay, let me get my light color here. Just kind of go around the top of my mesa and lighten that up. And then I just kind of want to come down here and create this image. Okay, so like I was saying, you make your mesa or your quest like this. To get this piece, they might kill something that has it. You got to have somebody that kind of knows where stuff is also, which is kind of a big part of this. There's something I'm going to be calling the eye, and it's just going to be a rock structure. That's kind of strange. And I'm going to have to build a rock structure that looks like this to do the fight. The rest of the stuff I can build with like terrain, but not everything can you do that. And then I'm also going to have a river. And so what I need to build is like up here, I need to have like a rock face where the river's going to come down. I want to have 5 major things that they need to get to unlock the Rubik's Cube. So I got a river with a waterfall. I got a needle, or the eye, a canyon, a mesa, and the last one is going to be a cave. Okay, so we can dry those off and come back over them. colors and kind of reinstitute the saturation you need. And you could draw a standard format map for yours if you wanted. I didn't really come into this with much of a plan. I just kind of knew I wanted to do something like this, like make a puzzle map. And you can kind of do the same thing. Just come up with a rough idea of what you want to do. Doing a standard map works, but a point of interest map can sometimes be a little more telling to what you're trying to accomplish. And it also makes them think there's not 1,000 ways to get lost. They kind of get the idea that these 5 points of interest, or however many you put, are the most crucial part of the adventure for them. Okay, so when you have those kind of dry, get your marker and kind of rough out what you want to do. So I'm just going to follow the gaps here and clean that edge up to make this look like it's going to be where my river goes. Okay, and my needle, I'm going to clean that up. I'm not sure if there's any active volcanoes in the times of the Old West, but man, that'd be cool if there were. All right, now we just need some different colors to make this happen. But before that, let's get a little bit of this tan and kind of speckle this down a little bit and create the right look of what we need. All right, that'll do it. Let me lit up some of these paints and grab some new colors. You can accompany this with a set of instructions, or you can paint directly on it what's going on or what they're looking at. You're kind of open to interpretation when you're doing something like this, making a prop. What I'd like to do is paint directly on here in weird handwriting maybe, or in weird paint writing, so that it looks kind of like fingerprint paint maybe. I haven't decided yet. Or maybe use a simple code or cipher so that they also have to figure that out. I don't want to make it too hard, because this is just leading them to a Rubik's Cube, which is going to have images for that. When you unlock the Rubik's Cube, you can use it as a key to do something. And they're going to find out about this after they do the vault fight that I showed you. What did I need? Blue. I'm going to start out with a dark blue. This is called Admiral Blue. And to do my waterfall and river, I'm just going to tonight's a big night for me. I'm going to speak at the Public Service Commission hearing. My city water department's been corrupt. I used to work there years back, and I've gone into fights with them several times. They lie about stuff. They make bad decisions. They hire corrupt companies. Likely there's some kickbacks going on. No proof of that. Just, that's how it seems. That some people that run the show are dishonest. And so tonight I'm speaking at a Public Service Commission hearing, and I'll be taking questions from the public for people that don't believe what they're being told by the water department. And I'm a little nervous about it because I am kind of older and not so much in the fight anymore. And I haven't been there in years, so I don't... if anything has changed, my information might not be correct. And since they're not transparent and won't tell the truth when you ask them questions, I can't tell if they're doing things right or not. It looks like they're not, though. And I've talked to an engineer from the Bureau of Public Health and the Public Service Commission and some other people. So I'm not going into this completely uneducated, but there's some shenanigans afoot for sure. All right, let's get our brush. We're going to need a lighter blue just to make that river look a little better. For that lighter blue, I'm going to use, survey says, turquoise. And then at the bottom of the river, something very light. And for my very light, I'm using this sky blue and then maybe a dot of white. All right, so this needle is in a forest, so I do need to add some kind of trees. Let me find a brush I can do that with real quick. I don't have a good brush for that laying around, so I had to dig in one of my cups or something. I got this one. Let's get a green color. This is arbor green. It's pretty dark. This is going to be like a pined area. So to do that, I'm just going to come in here and make some mock pine trees. This is just a giant structure that sticks out of the middle of a forest, and it stands pretty tall. You could really simulate this with just 2 giant pillars, and that would be fine. But the interesting thing is underneath this tree, you know what I mean? Underneath this needle. It's just, it's buried in a forest is all. I'm gonna hit this with air, then come back and do that again. Okay, I'm gonna come back, like I said, and just kind of redo that forest real quick, just to make it look a little better, because the paint's not giving good coverage. This is cheap craft paint, you know. If you were to use like a better quality paint, you probably would have better luck doing this on one go instead of 2. But I'm using like the cheapest crap on earth. And if you watch the channel, you know that's kind of, I use the cheapest crap a lot. Okay. Now we need something a little lighter to give some contrast on those trees and make them more interesting. To do that, I'm going to use this Kelly green. Probably should have water going into that canyon now that I'm looking at it. We'll see in a moment if that's necessary. And we need to add some other colors on here to make this more interesting. Looking at the river, yeah, we can do something darker. I'm going to get this mountain blue. It's pretty watered down. I'm not going to put a lot of effort into this. I'm just going to kind of drag it through there to show that there's some water. So I'm just going to kind of... It's going to disappear into the bottom and come back out the other side. It'll be noticeable, but not mega noticeable. On the cave, I do want something on there to give me a differential in color so that it sticks out and it's not boring. You know, we need some color. We can't have 3 dull ones. So for the cave, I'm going to get some red here. And give that a little bit of a red hue. Then I'm going to get a light color, like a teal or something. The color I've grabbed is called Caribbean. That might not be good. Let me get this Laguna. I'm going to get this Laguna. And I'm going to make some little lines in between the red dots. Then we got to do something over here to make it interesting. I'm getting a color called Apricot. It's orange. I'm probably going to have to do this more than once. What I want it to look like is that there's some kind of sunbeam situation. So if you've seen like the Japanese flag, and how there's like these beams coming off of a sun. I'm just trying to accomplish something kind of like that real quick. Just to add some color here. Then I'm going to dot that top of that mesa with some splashes of that. I'm going to bring down a couple lines here and there. And we're just adding a little bit of color to make it some interesting. We're not going out of our way to kill ourselves here. But we're trying to do something so that it looks like it some effort was put into this. If your party sees a product that has some effort in it, they're going to get excited, I think, from experience. And then I'm going to come over here and go in between those with a darker orange. And then here in the cave, draw a little orange dot in the center of the cave. Okay. So, the next thing is to populate the rest of this to make it interesting. So to do that, a paint marker would have been ideal, but I don't have one. Oh, I do, but it's dried out. I do have a silver Sharpie, but I couldn't tell you where I put it. It's probably upstairs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand paint some writing on here. And to do that, I'm just going to get some white paint. And I'm going to put canyon. So if you want to center stuff, sometimes it is better to start in the middle and work your way around. See that? The Great Canyon. And this is going to be called the Tired Mesa. Forgotten Cavern. That O doesn't look great. I'm going to come back and try to do that. Cavern. Let's come up here. We're going to call this something. Salt Flat Falls. All right. and the needle. We need to decorate this up more. It's looking pretty boring. So to do that, I think what the secret answer would be is to make a path leading these in some kind of order. To do that, I'm going to get a little bit of a fatter brush, something a little rounder, with a little more coverage. And let's start a weird path that makes no sense. However, we're not going to say where the first point is, where the beginning and the end is, okay? They'll have to figure that out. We don't want this to be too easy. So, in the Tomorrow Comes Doom Frontier game right now, the year is 1900. They've just had a World's Fair in the turn of the century. So, it's important that we incorporate some history with this that works to the game they're playing. Now, since you guys aren't playing that game, you're running your own games, or you're just watching for entertainment purposes, keep this in mind. There are some pretty boring pieces here and pieces with nothing. So to flex those out and make them a little better, the thing to do is to do something a little unexpected. Like, for example, I'm writing order templates. Which is going to be part of my story that the what do you call them? The Templar Knights hid what they're searching for. By the way, what they're searching for ultimately, what is unlocked with that Rubik's Cube is the DNA or a sample of blood that is magically preserved from the first human beings that were pure blood before they, bred with angels and demons and Nephilim and everything else. They need that as a cure to the element X, the stuff that's destroying the world, that's mutating people and creating these strange beings and stuff. It has to be cured with this. There's no other path forward. So now we're going to populate the rest of this with some exciting stuff. For example, I'm I'm going to make a bull face here, a buffalo face here. Maybe I'm going to do a whole cartoon of a buffalo. So this is like an amalgamation of different styles of art and stuff like that doesn't really go together. I'm also going to do like a cow head, a bull head here. Okay, and there's going to be horns go up there, so there's going to be some ears here. And we're just going to take our time and do this, and it doesn't have to be perfect or make sense. We want these to kind of look like cave drawings to an extent anyways, so I think it'll help our cause. There's a indigenous god of mischief called Kokopelli, and he's got a kind of a generic funny shape, so I'd like to just kind of incorporate him. He has a silly head, and he plays a flute. Now, let me get something else here. Here's a yellow. For those of you that are familiar with old wives' tales and superstition, one of the things that's very popular is the evil eye. And I'm going to make my own version of that right now to keep things interesting. I'm just going through different colors trying to decorate up the map. We're going to draw a bird. We're just slowly, this stuff has nothing to do with the map, but the people are going to try to figure out that it does, because this map has changed hands before it was ripped apart over years. So we're going to just keep adding some silly stuff to it, and each of the owners of the map, each of the protectors of it before it was finally split apart, has made a contribution to it, okay? And these different items that we're depicting on here, perhaps these were magic items or things that the owners of the map at different times had. Okay? And this could open entire other storylines, you know? This could really, you know, change what you're, you know, maybe they see this antler that I'm going to, you know, I'm going to do some work on all this stuff, obviously, but this is going to be a hatchet. No, a spear. A spear, spear, spear. Let's get some hair on here. So I said we didn't talk about which way you started from, and an afterthought is this. Well, Because you can start at either side, but you have to go in order or it won't work. I want a darker color for that. Now I'm just making it interesting. There's not a whole lot left here to accomplish at this point, besides dressing it up a little bit. I'm going to do the buffalo's mouth part here and a horn. I'm not sure how their horns are. The cow, I'm going to do its horns with this gray. This is my favorite color in the world, pavement, by the way. I'm going to make him have some little eyebrows that say he's angry. For my bird, I'm going to do its beak in this gray too. Now I want Kokopelli to have a little more color on him. And I want to put something decorative on that spear to make it look like it's a fancy item. So to do that, first I'm coming up to Kokopelli. I'm just coloring in his shirt lightly, like that. And then on the spear, I'm going to do some... So it looks like the wrappings are some blue. What else? The bird's eye can be blue. The evil eye center of it can be blue. I need one more color. I'm just going to get an orange here. And I'm just going to have a couple feathers on that spear just to pimp it out a little bit. Okay. All right, so that was kind of a long one. Well, it didn't really take that long ultimately because I showed you guys stuff and I had to put the puzzle together and prime it and everything. But basically, you can now dry this, clear coat this, give this to your party in chunks over time, and watch them try to put it together. I'm just going to be putting all my pieces into a little bag or a little cup or something and handing them out randomly in no kind of specific order. You can do it however you want, or you can give it to them all at once. But even once they've completed the puzzle map, the point of interest map, there's other things on here they can learn about. They can learn about the Templars. They can learn about Kokopelli and what his impact... Oh, I want to do something with that. And I didn't put a string on that bow. But there's a lot of things you could do, okay? So for the string on that bow, I'm just going to get a little bit of this color here. And drag it across there, do a line. Make sure my line's kind of straight. I'm just going to do like a test line, then come back through. And then on this, on my antler, I'm going to just kind of come around where I do the brown and do this light on top. Just like that. And you might not be able to guess that's an antler, but if they ask somebody about it, they'll be like, oh yes, that looks like this antler, you know? Who knows? I don't know. I sure as hell don't know. Alright, so if you want to clean any of this up, you can just get that black marker. For example, my horns here are kind of crappy. I'm just gonna, do that. My spear tip, just, you'll see this a little bit, this stuff a little bit, right? There's going to be a different shade of color, and that's okay. All right, I think that's what we wanted. Something like that. I'm gonna dry it and clear coat it. I'm going to hit it with a clear coat real quick. And this is just to protect it and seal it in. I will say that if you just used a blow dryer on something and then hit it with the clear coat, it dries pretty quick. All right, there we go. That's my point of interest map puzzle for my party. I hope you guys like this. It's something a little different than I normally do, but I wanted this to start handing this out on Friday. I feel like this campaign's going for the long run. If it's going for the long run, it's got to have some intrigue. It's got to have some puzzle solving, and it's got to be interesting. So I have to start adding more than just like a generic plot line about evil doctors and vampires. So here we go. This will get you going on a project like that, and you can come up with 1,000 ideas of your own from there. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, leave a comment. All the stuff that pleases the great spirits of the algorithm. Check out the website, www.dungeon-swag.com. Link will be in the description. There's also a discount code in the description and a link to our Discord where you can come hang out with us, talk to us, get ideas, give ideas, share your art, see our art, and hang out with our community. We'd love to see you there. If not, hey, we've all been disenchanted with groups before. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we'll see you next time.